Before we even begin the podcast, I have to ask, are you free May 12th through the 14th from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern? Now, even if you're not, there's replays available. So please, I'm going to encourage you, highly encourage you to join me for sold out circles and offers. This is a mini business retreat that will help you magnetize the right people, clarify your message, and confidently sell out your sacred work. That's right. And so just for $17, we are going to have this epic experience. Now, this isn't just another passive training. We're workshopping in real time, meaning you will leave with real results. So during the 3-day journey that we're having, where each day will be together for 2 hours, and I have to say that my show up rate for each day is high because each day builds upon each other and you every day have actionable results. And so day one is voice first, selling second. Day two, build your sovereign selling flow. And day three is crafting your signature circle or offer that you're going to put out there immediately and see some results. So if this is for you, please, please, please go ahead and look in the show notes. You'll notice that I have information there, or you can head on over to Instagram at Devoted Way and go ahead and DM me the words sold out. SOLDOUT, sold out, and I will give you all the deep. I cannot wait to play with you in May for this epic 3-day retreat. Welcome to Sacred Strategy, the business and energy podcast where bold strategies meet the magic of energy and intuition. I'm Sora Schilling, sacred space holder, business alchemist, and creator of the Devoted Archetypes, Sovereign Selling, and the Devoted Energy Coaching Model. For over a decade, I've guided thousands of coaches and space holders to build thriving, soul-aligned businesses that create impact and life-changing money. Let's cut through the noise of traditional strategies and uncover your unique medicine. Use the devoted archetypes to become a transformational space holder and learn to sovereignly sell with integrity. This podcast is your invitation to step into your magic and create a blissfully abundant business and life filled with curiosity, awe, and wonder. Let's dive in. Our sweet pup just turned 4 months old. And y'all, she is all legs. She's all ears. And she is so highly active and social. She has a lot of energy and she is in constant need of playtime and speed. She's highly energetic, incredibly social, and just loves saying yes to walks and to playing fetch over and over again. It's been such a joy seeing the world through her eyes. But also, let's get real, okay? When she first came into our lives, everything changed. My calendar, my focus, my energy, it was actually all centered around caring for her. And the healer in me, oh my goodness, I did not even realize that the compassionate healer in me was going to come out hot and strong. I was in the severe desire and need to protect her, to nourish her, and to make sure every single need was met. It was a little too much, I have to say. Even finding a couple hours in a day to work had felt so challenging. Now that she's had all of her shots and is venturing into the world a bit more, we've been trying out doggy daycare, and honestly, it's working beautifully. She gets to play and connect and socialize and have a great time. And I get the space I need to return to a schedule that actually supports both of us. But here's also the truth. I didn't just create a new schedule for her. I had to create a new schedule for me as well, so that I can come back into work in a way that felt different. And part of that, I have to say honestly, had nothing to do with the pup and a lot to do with the mindset shift of being a badass spiritual entrepreneur, a CEO of my company, really honoring that I am in my rich Asian auntie era. And that means that I need to work in a different way. Now, before I walk you through my current, now newly created weekly rhythm that has been something I've been doing now for a number of weeks, I want to name something. You've probably heard spiritual entrepreneurs say, I'm working less and making more. And let's be honest, sometimes you hear that and think, what the F? How? Because the to do list is real, the sessions are real, the responsibilities are real. But here's what I found, especially working with incredible clients I serve. These are folks who've already been successful. Maybe they've had a thriving career, or they've been doing spiritual work for decades. So, again, if you are noticing for yourself, oh, but Sora, I'm not successful, let's take a moment and pause and consider what is your current programmed definition of success? And how can you begin to embody that you are successful and that you are success? Because you have been doing this work for decades. Now, my clients, they're not confused about their magic either. They're not actually fully in self doubt, but they have been treating their business like a hobby or overly focusing on modalities and believing that they don't have everything they need and they need to learn more. They're also in a space where, let's say, sales feels a little bit hard and they are not looking at the bigger picture of what's possible. So when they're ready to shift, they're not looking for another course. They're not looking for another hack. They're not looking for the 5 steps or a template. What they really are desiring is a mentor, a real world rhythm, an actual person there listening to them and witnessing them, and someone who's been in it, navigating real life, real business, and still thriving. I mean, really honest about what it means to thrive, what it means to fail, what it means to learn from it, and what it means to continue going. So, one of the biggest questions I get is, how are you taking Fridays off, Sora? What does it mean to have on weeks and off weeks? And the last question a lot of my clients ask me is, how can I create more space and more income? So, let me go ahead and walk you through my own schedule. Here's how I've designed my week to support both structure and soul because I'm a 6-2 projector and I'm also very introverted. Now, I love being with people. It just means that I get exhausted from it. So here's my week. Monday through Thursday, 2 to 6 p.m. is reserved for client calls. So this is for my mastermind, my accelerator, as well as my devoted energy coaching school students. This is where I am really working from a client to coach perspective with either one on ones or in a group. These are high energy containers. So I hold them in the afternoons when I'm in the groove, and it works beautifully for my global clients in Europe and in Australia. I love coaching in the afternoons into the evenings. So that's when I do it. Now, my mornings from, let's say, 9 to 2 is my CEO and creation time. And so let me break out what that looks like Monday through Friday. And this isn't actually every Monday through Friday, but let's just go ahead and break it down. So Mondays are all about focusing on outward facing content creation. Things like podcasts, Substack, articles, sales emails, and it's all about community love inside of my circle. And so this is what I do every Monday. And I've created a system. So, for example, like this, I'm recording my podcast that I'm batching. So I took one day where I wrote all of the podcasts for 4 episodes. And now I'm sitting inside of a soundproof room and I'm batching the podcast and recording 4 of them. That's what I mean by Mondays being outward facing content creations. I also make sure that I'm in my community in all of the different groups and containers and I'm expressing my love. Tuesdays are focused on sovereign selling, working inside my sales pipeline, and refining my system. This is all about intentional strategies to invite more delicious people into my business because I desire for my business to grow and I desire to see there being everyday consistent income that comes in so that I can continue to be epically supportive. So then Wednesday is all about client connection and client content creation. So again, this is where community love comes in, where I'm in my groups and I'm there for them, responding to their post. but I'm also creating content for my clients. So for Lush, Magic of Circle, and any other offerings, this is the time when I'm creating things for them. I might also be creating socials. So, considering what posts I'm making, the graphics, and scheduling them out. I'm always batching and really focused on 1 to 3 things each day. Okay, then Thursday. Thursday, again, is back to sovereignly selling. Again, this is outward content creation and outward reach. This is where I'm making connections with people. I'm reaching back out. I am going through my sales pipeline to seeing what the next thing I should be doing. This is when I'm having those magnetic messaging activation calls. And so there is a system to me in the way in which I am selling or in the embodied state of a sovereign selling badass business owner who is in her Asian auntie, creative, wildly abundant era. Okay, Friday. Friday is about community love again, about social posts, and about creating space. Very often, Fridays are my off days, unless I want to run either a free magnetic messaging activation sessions, or if it is part of the time that I'm doing my 3-day training for my community at a low cost that invites them into Lush. So, one of my favorite parts of my day to day schedule is looking at my week, but also looking at my month. Because when we look at my month, I have on weeks and off weeks to create my sacred flow. I don't actually hold my clients every single week. I've designed client on weeks and off weeks. So Lush and Energy School calls happen every other week, which means I have at least 6 days every month where nothing is scheduled. There's no client calls at all. And the reason why this is important to me is this is my time and I get to choose if I'm going to be working in my business, on my business, take a break, or be doing something else. Like, let's say, working with my puppy or getting ready to pack and move. So, this is when my time is spent, let's say, running a free training or hosting magnetic messaging activation calls where people can get a taste of what it's like to work with me. This might be a time where I'm catching up on business tasks quietly. This might also be a time where I'm playing with my puppy or resting and recharging my projector energy and laying in bed or doing some house duties that I haven't done yet. This rhythm has changed everything. I no longer feel like I'm scrambling. Instead, I'm creating with my life. Okay, so let's talk about batching for a sec because this is key. I don't just create content. I create in a system that flows. So, for example, let's talk about outward facing content creation. My focus, first and foremost, is on my podcast content. And then write it all out. And then I think about what my Substack articles will be based on that. I then consider what are the personal messages I desire to share as my personal expression on Substack. I then repurpose all of that and create my socials, and then also any sales emails based on what's happening that month that I desire folks to know about. I then make sure that I batch each stage. Here are the different stages of my work there's writing, recording, editing, asset creation, and scheduling. Now, what you could do is take one podcast, write the outline, write the script, record it, edit it, create the assets, create the timestamps, and then create the socials and schedule everything with the images. You can do it all in one go. But I don't do that because it takes a lot of my mental capacity to switch gears in that way. So I don't just create content. I've built a flow that moves like a wave, starting with the podcast, flowing into the Substack articles, then the socials, and finally into sales emails or activations. But here again is where the magic really is. It's about batching each stage of the process. So I might sit down and in one go write all of my outlines and episode scripts. I might another day sit down and record multiple podcast episodes back to back while I'm in my speaking energy. I'll then go off, come back another day, and I'll do all the editing. I might even schedule the post or pull the quotes for graphics and figure out the timestamps. And then on another time, I'll sit down and create all of my assets, the graphics, the social posts, the captions, while my creative brain is in full swing. So batching lets me stay in one vibe at a time instead of bouncing between totally different tasks. It reduces decision fatigue and overwhelm. It helps me create more in less time, and it keeps me feeling grounded and focused. I feel like a badass CEO. So, therefore, for example, last Thursday, I batched 2 episodes and I wrote 3 Substack drafts and still had time to make dinner without feeling like my brain was fried. At this moment in time, I am batching 4 episodes and I am doing that within 50 minutes. This allows me to stay in one energetic lane at a time. It's calm, it's efficient, and it's really powerful. And it makes me feel so good at the end. Now, I know you might be thinking, okay, Sora, but how do I do this for myself? So I created something for you. Inside of our Substack membership called Sacred Business Circle, you'll get access to a step-by-step resource where you'll be guided to really create your own aligned weekly rhythm. Because I know that your day-to-day life looks different than mine. Sure, I have a 4-month-old puppy, but you might have a full-time career, or you might have children, or you might have aging parents that you are supporting. Or you might have a lot of time, but you don't actually want to use all that time doing your work and you'd like to create a system. Or maybe you're feeling really overwhelmed and you're ready to shift into a different era of yourself as a business owner that's not taking this as a hobby. So, this is designed to help you find your energetic leaks, restructure your calendar, and reclaim your time. It's pretty darn good. It's available to all the members, and it's a beautiful way to bring this episode into your real life with tangible results by shifting your way of working each week, day by day, month by month. So let me leave you with this. You don't have to be me. Please don't be me. You don't have to follow my exact schedule, but you do deserve a business that supports your life. So ask yourself, where are you overextending? Where could you create more rhythm, more ease, and more spaciousness? What do you need to know to give yourself permission to actually do that? What would shift in your calendar if you were to design it around your actual desires and season of life? Your business doesn't need to be an ever ending to do list, my friend. It could be a rhythm, a breath, a blessing. So, if this episode lands for you, please come and DM me on Instagram at Devoted Way or reply on Substack with your comments. And please follow me, share this podcast episode with your friends, and leave me a love note, AKA a review. And also tell me what's one shift you're making in your calendar after listening. And come back later and tell me how it's been supportive. Thanks for being here with me today. I'm sending you and your inner badass CEO a big hug and a whole lot of encouragement. You've got this. Until next time, blessings.